Hey y'all, this is Chef Dave. Today I'm going to make not your father's or grandfather's Beenie Weenies. Start out with a little olive oil in a saute pan. Going to drizzle that in there, maybe a tablespoon or so. Bring it up to medium heat. You're going to have everything prepped. On the side, you're going to have 1 can of our favorite baked beans. You're going to have 1 full onion chopped. And then you're going to have some elephant garlic, about 2 tablespoons. That's going in next, chopped finely. We're going to stir that up, let it get a little brown. You don't want to have too much browning because then you'll get some bitterness out of your garlic. So we're going to stir that up pretty good, and we're going to kind of keep it looking sort of white but a little bit translucent. Let it go for a few minutes. Kind of break it loose a little bit. Then we're going to add in that 1 cup of chopped onion. I use Vidalia onions, they're my favorite, and if you can find them, use those. Otherwise, a white onion or a onion of your preference, like a red onion maybe even, will go along with this just fine. So we're going to stir that up a bit. Not going to add any more oil, but the secret here is to just keep stirring, keep stirring. So don't leave it for too long, because if you do, you're going to get everything a little over browned, and you don't want it to get bitter because there is some garlic in there. So just kind of keep bopping it around. This is what we call American stir fry. Nobody ever said Beenie Weenies were tough to make, but these are a little different from your usual Beenie Weenies you might have seen. Right here, we're going to start with the onion and garlic. We're going to give it a nice deglaze. This is how I like to deglaze it. Pretty much my favorite way is using some red wine vinegar. Hit it with maybe a teaspoon and a half, tablespoon or so. Let it kind of flash off a bit, stir it in, keep stirring it, keep stirring it. Get that all combined real nice. Now we're going to come over, we're going to put a little pinch of salt in there. What I'm doing here is using a smoked salt. That's a smoked Himalayan sea salt. Real smoky flavor. And then I'm going to hit it with this grinder, which looks like pepper, but it's not. That's just my way of using my fine sea salt. Comes in real handy. Instead of putting pepper in there, just put some coarse sea salt in there. It makes it real nice. Now while that's heating, you're going to just kind of set it and let it kind of slow down a bit. You don't want to overcook. You don't want to get it too hot. Just want a little bit of steam coming off of that still. When the steam stops coming off of it, that's when you want to add 4 chopped hot dogs. I use Nathan's, they're my favorite, skinless. They have a nice flavor to them, a little bit salty, but it goes good with the dish because the beans can be real sweet. Deglaze it with a splash of Worcestershire sauce. And that's going to probably give it its nice depth of flavor more than anything that I use in this. That's kind of like my secret weapon. Now here's another secret weapon. This is turmeric. I put this on everything. Not only is it really good for you, it has a beautiful, bright, fruity kind of flavor and scent when it goes into the pan. And usually when you add that, everybody kind of starts looking up. That's turmeric. I buy it from the Indian store in a huge bag for about $3. Don't buy those little jars at the store like Publix, because you're getting ripped off. Next is going to be a slight deglaze of my favorite hot sauce. I use Cholula, but anything will do. But I like Cholula because it's not just vinegar and peppers. It's actually got other vegetables in there. It's a real good sauce. We're going to stir that up, just kind of keep it going. Don't want to let it sit too long, but you also want your hot dogs to get a little bit of a brownness on there. But you don't want to over brown your hot dogs. Number one, you don't want them drying out because they're skinless. Here come the beans. Oh yeah, those beautiful bean footages. I use one that rhymes with tushes. Squirt of mustard. Just use your favorite mustard. You can even use Dijon mustard if you want to get a little funky on that, but that's what I've been using for years right there. I use a little sweeter ketchup. This one's a Hellmann's. Kind of like that little sweet bite that it has. Gonna drizzle maybe a tablespoon of each in there for now. We'll put a little more on later as a garnish. So we're gonna just kind of keep stirring this until it combines. The Worcestershire sauce, you'll actually see that it'll combine in there, and it'll give it like a really nice thick chili broth almost. So when it kind of moves that way in the pan, sort of gelatinous, that's when it's just about done. You let it go for a few more minutes just to make sure that it's heated all the way through, because that big can of beans can be awful cold and takes a little while to get it hot. Plus there's some bacon in there, and you want to get that bacon kind of soaking up the flavors too. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to sit there and look at it. It's a beautiful thing. Almost want to eat it right out of the pan. Basically just take it, put a few scoops of that stuff in a pot, put it in a bowl, put it on a plate. However you like to eat it, it doesn't really matter because Beenie Weenies don't care. And a lot of times when I'm doing Beenie Weenies, I'll actually make like garlic bread or something like that along the side, but for the purposes of this video, I figured I'd just do the Beenie Weenie recipe, and you guys can garnish it with whatever you like. Make sure you have a cold beer though. So anyways, this gives you about 3 nice size servings, 4 decent size servings. You know, you just double it, add more hot dogs. You really can't mess it up. Just make sure the timing of everything as you add it is done the same, and you'll get the perfect consistency and broth out of it. We're going to garnish the top with some freshly chopped onions, because everything should be layered. You always want multiple layers of the same ingredients. That makes food more complex, gives you that umami. Gonna do a little drizzle. We'd garnish everything around here. Even if it's the silliest little sandwich or a bowl of Beenie Weenies, we're gonna garnish that sucker. Let's just give it a squirt of mustard. Maybe another teaspoon. Give it another teaspoon of ketchup. And you're done. And this is the finished product. Enjoy. All right, let's get a spoon and give this stuff a taste. I've eaten this so many times. I've probably had this 1,000 times. I've made it for so many different people, and it's always good. It's definitely Beenie Weenies like you've never had before, and you can even dress it up a little bit if you guys like to add different things. Like sometimes I'll add a little celery salt. Celery salt gives it a really unique bite, or actually just add celery to it if you got the time to reduce that down. But it's the best. That's really good on a cold day. Really good. Cheers.